know wrestling companies are in a working relationship with one another when GCW, Impact Wrestling, and AEW all have a show called Homecoming in the span of 2 weeks.
And there's all these wrestling promotions that have a show called Homecoming. Like WWE had a show called Raw Homecoming. Do you think WWE's in on this too? I would hope so.
I highly doubt it because, you know, New Japan and Impact and AEW can play nice with one another. But God forbid anybody does anything WWE, they will have you shot on the spot.
God, yeah. But yeah, welcome to our review of AEW Homecoming. They're in Daly's place once again after leaving for the road and the trip and all that. Like, why the fuck are they back already?
Because this show was supposed to be in another city, but that had to get delayed. I think it was Pittsburgh a week early, so they had to delay it. And they had nowhere else to go, so they decided to come back to Daly's place. I don't think AEW would be that inconsistent on purpose. They're not WWE.
Right, exactly. You know, and I'm sure we've got a lot more to talk about, but Daly's place was packed to the gills and everybody was psyched. And I hope you all are psyched to talk some more wrestling with Tomas and I here on this ZNT show. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. It would really mean a ton, as well as that thumbs up button. You know what to do. It really, really helps us get this content out there. But my friend, AEW Homecoming, it's a pretty stacked episode. I'll just say this for right now. I think this was AEW's best Dynamite since, I would say it was one of their best, like, in this stretch of, like, the special episodes. Like, this...
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, this is the end of our little AEW marathon. Next week episode doesn't have a special theme to it. It's just AEW Dynamite. They're going to have a little break before Rampage starts. I know they got the big Pittsburgh shows lined up for Dynamite and Rampage. And then I know in a few weeks they are going to Chicago for Dynamite and All Out.
Yes, but they are doing so they're doing that whole week before All Out in Chicago in that same arena. But there is an episode of Rampage taking place in the United Center in Chicago. And you know what?
Yes,
let us on that. Yeah, let us know down in the comment section below if you want to hear us discuss Rampage. If a certain someone, wink, wink, if a certain someone is going to wrestle Darby Allin at All Out shows up. But I'm sure he will.
And, you know, I was thinking about that. Do we want to be inconsistent and not review the first episode, but review the second episode? I feel like it works either way because we may want to watch the first episode to see how good it is.
Yeah.
And if the second episode is worth a review, we should see.
We'll see.
We could just touch on both episodes. I know the second episode has a big surprise. We want to suspend our disbelief. We want to suspend our disbelief, but we kind of see the writing on the wall with that one. Yeah. And like I said, this is the end of our little AEW marathon.
Sure
and
is.
I know all technicalities aside, let's give Daly's place a break for, I want to say, at least a year. I'm already annoyed that SmackDown's going to be in Orlando this Friday and Raw is going to be in Tampa Bay. Can we get the fuck out of Florida for a little bit, please?
Yeah. How about come to California for a little change in heart? But
they're coming to San Diego for the Raw after SummerSlam.
Yeah, but
I'm talking a little closer, please.
I'm talking Bay Area. I'm talking Bay Area.
Well, then say Bay Area.
I know. Yeah, but okay. So AEW Homecoming 2021 opens up with a bang. The third chapter in the 5 labors of Jericho. He is taking on Juventud Guerrera, one of his biggest rivals in his WCW days. And I'm still laughing out loud at how you called this a Day of Reckoning stipulation. Chris Jericho has to win with a maneuver from the top rope. Because of course he does.
It sounds like it. It sounds like, remember when you were in like the indie show phase of the storyline and Jonathan Coachman was kind of your manager and he was forcing you to do all these weird stipulations. This is kind of what it feels like. And I know I was poking fun at
win with a
submission
move.
Yeah. Or defeat, or you have to use your finisher, or you can't win with your finisher or something like that. And I know I was poking fun at Juventud Guerrera last week, but he looked pretty good.
Juvi,
I don't know how old he is,
You know what? I'm gonna look this up while you talk about him. But let me just say that he looks like he was in really excellent shape. It looks like Jericho put him on.
I don't know if he's still regularly wrestling in Mexico, or I don't know how much ring rust Hubi has because he did not show any tonight. That's for sure.
No,
and while you look that up,
I will say, first of all, he is 46 years old. He looks like he was
damn good.
He looks like he was in decent shape. It looks like Jericho put him on DDP yoga at some point. But
exactly. One nitpick I do have about this match already is that Jericho brought out the Painmaker for last week. I'm really upset he didn't break out Lionheart. He didn't break out Lionheart for this match. Man. I wanted to see
that would have been
the little ponytail he used to have in WCW, and I kind of wanted the old music to come back. It was kind of disisappointing
because Monday Night Jericho wouldn't have made sense, and because obviously
I'm talking about WCW Lionheart.
Wasn't that an ECW gimmick?
It was kind of WCW as well. It's kind of like when Jericho.
And then
95, 94 Jericho.
And then he got really cocky around the late 90s before he left the WCW. And
that's what I'm kind of thinking. Remember when he used to wear his hair up and he used to wear cowboy boots to the ring? Kind of something like a little silly like that. So, I am going to bring up a point at the end of this match and at the end of the segment of how I feel about this whole Labors of Jericho thing and how interesting I think it is. But he's facing Juventud Guerrera. He has to win with the top rope submission. Top rope move.
I will say
this was a pretty good match.
It was one of my favorite matches on this show. This and the main event, which we'll talk about, were my personal favorites. But I will say, even though the Juice looks great and he looks like he's in great shape, his Hurricane Ranas were not the cleanest. It looks like he had a bit of ring rust as he was hitting them.
Oh, no, for sure. That just it makes me wonder if he's still wrestling. I can't speak tonight. Wrestling so regularly in Mexico, or if this is the first time he's wrestled in a while. Nobody said anything on commentary about it. No. But right away when the match starts, Juventud Guerrera immediately attacks Jericho. And the first thing I thought was like, man, he must be holding some sort of grudge from 1995 because he was aggressive in the beginning moments of this match.
And MJF on commentary did point out that Juvi still hates Jericho. I put air quotes around that because I'm sure that's a gimmick. But Juvi hit a perfect missile dropkick on Jericho. It looks like he got his groove back there. Jericho, this is why I liked this match. He didn't have to rely on the walls. He didn't have to rely on the Judas effects necessarily. Like, once he hits a top rope move, then you'd like, oh, okay, he's hitting a high cross body. He's hitting a double axe handle. Maybe that gets the job done. What could he possibly be hitting from the top rope? Because he didn't have, like, a full-on, like, move.
It made me wonder, he hit a double axe handle. It made you wonder if that was going to be the end of the match. You know, we're not, other than the Lion Salt, we don't know Jericho to do moonsaults or 450s or shooting star presses. And especially at his age now, it kind of made you wonder what Jericho could pull, from the bag of tricks.
And eventually we do find out, and it was great. But one thing I would like to praise about this match once again, MJF, the bastard himself on commentary. There was a point where he completely denies calling the Juice a masked moron to Tony Schiavone. And Schiavone was like, did you just call him a masked moron? And MJF was like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Nope. Nope.
He was also all over Aubrey Edwards in this match.
Oh, my God.
Saying that she counts too fast, she counts too slow. She's not doing her job right until Jericho hits like a tiger backbreaker. He goes for the pin, and Aubrey has to remind Jericho, no, you have to jump from the top rope to win this match. There was no
great call by the official.
Almost zero inconsistencies in this match. I know you're going to have something to say about this, but literally, Juvi goes for a top rope move, and Jericho counters it into the walls. That's an extreme technicality right there. The commentators were saying, he countered it from the top rope, so that's a top rope move. I'm like,
because it is a move off the top rope if you really think about it. Because Juvi, first of all, I should note that Jericho is ripping Juvi's mask, which made me think, wasn't Juvi unmasked when he was part of the Mexicools?
I was going to say, when I saw that spot, I was like, it's not like we don't know what Juventud looks like.
Exactly.
But at the same time, we're going to pretend that era of his career didn't happen, just like we're going to pretend like Ray never unmasked in WCW.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's kind of like, why bring that part of his career up? It's irrelevant and no one wants to talk about it. So again, if you're looking at it through the eyes of kayfabe, you should be like, no, don't rip off Juventud's mask. But, at the same time, you're like, it's not like we don't look. Again, you could also Google pictures of Ray and nobody looks like, but I don't want to see Ray's mask come off.
No, I don't want to see Ray's mask come off anymore either. But there is a point. I will say that was a really nice reversal out of the Frankensteiner. That was awesome. I really dug that.
Oh yeah. Again, it made me feel like I was in 1995 for a second. The way these two were working with each other.
And both these men are over 45. It's just like even Shivani was like blown away that he's seeing these guys wrestle a match on TNT of all places.
Again, I felt like I was in a time machine. I felt like I was watching an episode of Nitro.
We're doing the time warp, man. Let's all do the time warp
crazy.
Again. But,
crazy.
In any case, the juice hits the Hoovy driver for a very close 2 count, and MJF is screaming at the official at this point. You had one job, Aubrey. You had one job. Count quicker. And I'm like, I can only imagine what's going to happen at All Out when MJF actually does scream at Aubrey Edwards. But Jericho hits the Judas effect, a normal one, but he can't pin him. He goes for it, but he stops himself. Brilliant psychology. So what does he do? Goes up to the top rope, Judas effect, avalanche Judas effect, and that gets a really nice 3 count. This was a very fun
And
opener.
you know what? Jericho easily could have fucked that move up, but it looked pretty damn good.
It looks very clean, for sure. And it just goes to show you.
Yeah, you look at that move, and you think, spinning back elbow from the top rope, that's not going to look good. No, Jericho actually made it look very good for someone who doesn't really jump off the top rope. So I thought that was a really cool finish.
Yes, I really dug the finish. It was very creative. I dug this match. It's 3.5 stars for me. I mean, it's one of the better matches on this card, I would say. These two, you could tell they had great chemistry. Hoovy looks fantastic. These two have wrestled, I'm assuming, hundreds of times in different territories, but these two probably knew each other inside and out, and I'm sure Jericho is stoked to wrestle them again.
And again, anyone can correct me. Don't know how regularly Juventud wrestles nowadays, but he looked pretty damn good regardless. For all we know, he could be wrestling every week in Mexico right now. I don't know.
Yep. There you go. But after the bell, Wardlow comes out and he attacks both competitors. He hits a big F10 on Juventud. And then he hits, I don't remember exactly what he hit on Jericho. And then MJF makes the announcement next week, labor number 4 is against Wardlow, with the stipulation is just MJF being in Wardlow's corner. And I'm just like,
that's not really a stipulation.
Not really, no. And you're selling this like this is going to be more challenging than a fucking death match with Nick Gage. That's where I'm nitpicking.
Exactly.
Come on,
this
dude.
is everybody's nitpick. The labor seem out of order. In my opinion, you should have opened with Wardlow, then moved on to Sean Spears, then moved on to Hoovy, whatever the 4th labor is going to be, and labor number 5 needs to be the fucking death match, because I'm sorry, nothing against Wardlow, but after you survived Nick fucking Gage in a death match, Wardlow should be a fucking walk in the park.
Where do you go from here? Exactly.
Exactly.
It's just even this match. No disrespect. No disrespect to Hoovy at all.
This is the point I wanted to make, and now that you brought that up, it kind of, again, missed opportunity once again. I thought they said MJF was going to be the referee. And when they said that, this is going to be a real do you remember moment. Do you remember in 2005 when John Cena had to fight Carlito and Jericho was the referee? And
I remember
Jericho
that.
Screwed Cena out of the match. And then the next week, Cena had to put the title on the line.
Mm-hmm.
That was a scary moment.
It was.
And if they would have done that, it kind of would have made you think this is kind of like Jericho visiting some ghosts from his past. He had to revisit Juventud, and now he has to revisit a time where he wasn't a very nice person, and now he's getting a taste of his own medicine. Unfortunately, that's not the case, because MJF is just straight up in Wardlow's corner. It should have been the first labor.
MJF,
you know what? They should have made MJF the referee, because MJF is going to screw Jericho out of the match.
I mean,
that's more of a challenge, just like Cena.
It's not too late for Tony Khan to change his mind, though. If he's somehow listening to this, I would want MJF to be the referee, and that would be a surprise dick move and the surprise stipulation that he throws on Jericho. Maybe he takes off his business shirt. There's a referee shirt underneath, but they could do something.
Yeah, you say, where do you go from here? The only way this can be justified is Jericho has to face Bryan Danielson in an ultimate submission match as the 5th labor. That's the only way this can be justified.
There's no way they're bringing in Bryan Danielson as a heel. There's absolutely no way. But
I mean, were Gage and Hoobie really heels? Because I mean, you could say Hoobie was acting heel tonight.
Why would Danielson be working for MJF though? Like, what does he have to gain from that? Like,
good point. Good point. You make a good point. But then again, why would Gage be doing it? But no, you make a good point.
Yeah. So, with that being said, very, very fun match. Speaking of Mexican luchador wrestlers, we cut backstage to the Lucha Bros, and Chavo Guerrero approaches them with Andrade, and he says the Lucha Bros should be thankful for Andrade's travel that apparently he had paid for them. And the Lucha Bros say they're not taking the bait. They're not working for Andrade. I think this is a bait and switch. I think they're going to be brainwashed.
I also think, Andrade purposely sabotaged Pac's travel schedule thing, and Pac wasn't at AEW this week.
So Pac wasn't there tonight.
Pac wasn't at Fight for the Fallen last week. Now he's not here for Homecoming.
Mm-hmm.
They're not keeping the Death Triangle together on purpose, and I really like how they're stretching this out. They easily could have done a turn by now, but the longer this gets stretched out, the better the payoff is going to be.
It's an underratedly meticulous storyline. I mean, granted, it's in the mid-card for AEW right now, but it's probably going to lead to a killer match between Andrade and Pac at All Out. I'm hoping that's the plan. All Out, and that's where the Lucha Bros eventually get brainwashed. But I'm with you now. I'm fully convinced now that that's where this is heading. But
and again, I know it's going to be inconsistent, just like the Young Bucks. But I always liked the Lucha Brothers as heel, and now I feel like they're doing this weird flip-flopping thing. But once you turn them heel, please keep them heel, just like the Bucks.
Please.
That's another nitpick, a huge nitpick I have with AEW. It's like they can't make up their mind with certain things. And it's like, I know the Lucha Bros work better as faces in this situation, but you may want to keep them as one. I always like the Luchas more as heels.
On that note, it's going to be interesting to see how they approach CM Punk, to see if he's going to be a hero or a villain, but because he does both really well.
Yeah.
So I just hope that Tony Khan isn't wishy-washy in dealing with a champ like CM Punk,
he might be feuding with Darby Allin. I say you make Punk heel.
Yeah, I would say so too. But hey, perfect segue. Speaking of Darby Allin, he's teaming up with Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley against the team of Daniel Garcia and 2.0. Who? Daniel Garcia and 2.0.
Well, to be fair, before this match, Garcia and 2.0 did cut a promo saying they are brand new to AEW. And 2.0, some fans may know, are Everrise, who just got released from WWE, who were on NXT, and they did make a point saying we can go wherever we want now.
I'm just messing with you.
Back to release from WWE. Yeah. But no. In that promo, they did say we're brand new to AEW. So I don't think the commentators were expecting anybody to know who they were.
Right.
And they did say, these are new guys in AEW, and they are going right for the three biggest stars in the company. Why the fuck are you picking a fight with three biggest stars in the company?
Why are you picking a fight with them when you know who's going to win this match? Look at what Anthony Ogogo did at Double or Nothing. He went after the big dog and he was slaughtered.
I'm going to quote you. Who?
See, now you're just messing with me.
Make a point about that at the end of the show.
Yeah. So these three dweebs walk out for their entrance like sheeps being led to the slaughter. Huge pops for Darby and Mox with the Wild Thing theme.
Did you see Darby Allin's new entrance video? That was pretty fucking cool.
It looked interesting, like a video game almost. Is he designing...
No, it was like a 20s cartoon.
Like a 20s... Oh, yeah. No, I was just looking at the animation style, and I was like...
Real Felix the Cat, Betty Boop, Bendy and the Ink Machine, real, old-timey stuff like that.
That's crazy,
original Mickey Mouse cartoon style right there. It was really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, big pops for Moxley and Kingston. This was a squash match in the definition of a squash match. There were some fun parts of this match. Like one of the members of 2.0 coming face to face with Sting,
and
being
he couldn't
scared
believe
out
it.
of his mind.
He couldn't believe
and then
it.
Darby Allin comes fucking barreling out of nowhere and tackles this guy at like 100 miles an hour.
Can I add to that? Actually, he wasn't just scared; he was starstruck seeing Sting in front of him. He was absolutely floored that his idol was standing in front of him, and he was the distraction for Darby to come in and fucking kill him.
Like, he did. Allin like barreled at 100 miles an hour, almost killed this fucker, almost sent him back to NXT.
Yeah. Send him back to 205 Live. But Mox hits a paradigm shift, tags in Darby Allin, and he hits the coffin drop. Darby Allin gets the pin. That was the correct person to get the win, at least, because if rumors are to be true, if Darby Allin is facing off against CM Punk at All Out, like, he's got to get as many wins as possible. He's ranked number 3 right now. Like, he's got to get so many wins in the build-up to this pay-per-view. So, with that being said, this was fun, I guess. I mean, I gave it a 2 for effort. Yeah. You know, it was.
It was a fun match. The good guys went over. We then cut to the Dark Order backstage with Kenny Omega.
This is
Kenny
important.
Omega. I'm sorry, Hangman Adam Page. This is very important. Yes, they talk about Page comes through and he basically says, "I'm sorry I cost you guys the tag team title shot." The Dark Order said, "That's fine. You still need to go for the world title." Page agrees. But then Hangman breaks all of our hearts and he says, "I think for now we're done." And Hangman Page has basically turned in his resignation papers from the Dark Order, even though he was never officially part of the Dark Order.
No.
But he basically told them, "I need to do this on my own. I know you have my back, but leave me alone," basically. Yeah. And, you know, John Silver tried to speak up and say, hey, yeah, we're your friends. We have your back. But Page says, "No, we're done." And it was sad.
I need some space, you know. I'm assuming I'm assuming we'll see them team together at some point soon, but like I don't know. I mean,
think they want to remove the Dark Order from the Page Omega storyline so it's one-on-one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would agree with that. I think the Page and Omega thing still has a bunch of legs still to go, because next up, you get the brand new #1 contender for the AEW World title, my dude, Christian Cage. He's going one-on-one with the Blade. He's completely unbeaten. He attacks the Blade on the ramp. Why are you
just like in TNA?
So what?
Just saying.
Maybe he's not going to win the title.
Copy and paste storyline from 15 years ago.
Maybe he's not going to win the title. You know, I doubt he is. I would like to see him win the title.
We'll talk about that when we get to that segment. But for now, when they said that he's undefeated, I was like, just like in TNA. Not trying to shit on Christian Cage. Just
you're shitting.
I'm rolling my eyes a little with this one. No, I'm rolling my eyes with just how blatantly obvious they're being with Cage right now. Again, we'll get to that when we get to that.
Yeah. But,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Christian does attack the Blade on the ramp, but Bunny, who came out with the Blade at ringside, distracts him, pulling Christian's leg on the top rope as he's going for a big move. But legit Leyla Hirsch comes out to even the odds, and her and Bunny fight to the backstage area, so it's one-on-one. This will play into the women's match we talk about in a bit. But Christian, this crowd is fully behind this motherfucker. Like, this guy is so over. Like, you can't tell me that Kenny Omega versus Christian Cage wouldn't be money right now. Because this crowd would
for sure. Want Christian. And I'm going to reserve all my thoughts for that segment where they do announce that that match is going to happen.
Christian does fly over the ring post and attacks him with a crossbody. The crowd is chanting, "You still got it," even though he's a full-time roster member. And I laughed at that. I was like,
I mean, that would have been nice to cheer at him in January, but come on, he's been fully wrestling for, you know, well over 7 months now.
Yeah.
You know, that I feel like that chant is a little overused.
I mean, I would have laughed even more if they chanted one more match at him, but you know, it is what it is. I got you there. But Christian, there's some nice counter wrestling here. The Blade really surprised me in this match, actually, with how well he was holding up. But then he goes for the brass knuckles, and then Christian, out of nowhere, hits him with a spear for a 3 count. I mean, pretty basic match and a pretty basic outcome, all things considered. This is 2.5, 2 3/4. Christian looks great. But I do have a nitpick.
I will say.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'll let you go.
Christian, ever since he made his WWE comeback from 2009 to like now, I really like how he doesn't depend on the kill switch. He has a million moves in his arsenal. He has the kill switch. He has the frog splash. He has a spear. He has the diving headbutt. He has so many moves he could use.
Don't do the diving headbutt. Never do the diving headbutt.
I like wrestlers that can end a match with not just the one move. I like when they have 3 or 4 moves, like AJ Styles, calf crusher, Styles Clash, phenomenal forearm.
Yep.
Hell, sliding elbow if he's not feeling it one night. Springboard 450. I like diversity.
That's exactly right, for sure. Christian looks great in this match. The Blade was really, really great as well. But here's the thing, everybody. What has been Christian's gimmick ever since he arrived to AEW? You see it on my shirt right here. I bought it. Outwork everyone. That has been his mantra. But here's the thing. I did not think Christian outworked everyone on this show. There's no way. Did he outwork? No. Did he outwork Cody Rhodes?
We'll get to that.
Did he outwork? Did he outwork Malakai Black? Did he outwork Miro?
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Well, here, answer me this even. Did he outwork Chris Jericho? Did he outwork Juventud Guerrera? No. I don't think so.
Maybe he means outwork his opponents.
Maybe. I don't know. But like outwork everyone, I would think that would mean that you're the best damn wrestler on this roster. Like, which, no disrespect to Christian. I love the man, obviously. But, like, if you're not outworking everyone on this show every given night, as Paul White was teasing you, like, it's just weird. It's just weird.
Yeah, for sure. I get that.
It's a weird thing to complain about, obviously, but I'm just saying, if this is your mantra, you better live up to it, man.
Yep.
But
we then move on to not 1, but 2 in-ring segments. The first one up with Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, the reigning AEW Women's Champion, being interviewed by her best friend, Tony Schiavone. They don't really talk about much in this promo until Red Velvet comes out. Haven't seen her in a bit.
Excuse me, who?
Hey, I like Red Velvet. And here comes my problem. Again, AEW, and I'm going to talk about this later with another match. If you don't, and that makes a good point we just made, if you don't prominently feature these people every single week, why should I care now that Velvet is coming out to basically challenge Britt Baker? Velvet says, I have 7 wins in a row.
Where?
Not everybody watches Dark. Not everybody watches Elevation. You can't expect us to just watch all those other shows and be like, and when you see Red Velvet show up on Dynamite for the first time in like 3 months, be like, oh yeah, she's a legit contender against Britt Baker. Like, no. If you're going to give Velvet 7 wins in a row, why can't she win 7 matches in a row
on Dynamite or on Rampage?
To show
better
that
yet,
everybody watches.
You know, I
hope that's something AEW corrects with Rampage. If you're going to have the second show and not have 2 definitive rosters like Raw and SmackDown do, you better be using Rampage to really elevate these stars, no pun intended. You know,
God, get out of here.
Fine, I'll make another one. Have them go on a rampage.
Oh my God.
So
Stop.
I just don't think it's fair. And I don't think, anyone thinks Velvet's act, but spoiler alert, Britt Baker challenges Red Velvet to a match on the first episode of Rampage for the women's title. It's a mismatch. It's a huge mismatch, and you can't expect me.
And it's in Baker's hometown. So
exactly.
Who do you think is going to win?
If you want to build Velvet up, that's fine. But don't say she's won 8 matches in a row. And again, we're wondering, like, where are these matches? Oh, it's on the 2 internet shows that nobody watches. And they're basically the pre-show for Dynamite.
Yeah.
You can't expect us to keep up with all that,
No.
And at least with Raw and SmackDown, they're 2 different rosters. And let me tell you, in 2014, I wasn't watching SmackDown because there was no brand split.
Me neither.
Again,
I'll admit that.
So, again, You can't expect us to keep up with all this.
No.
I once had a friend tell me, oh, yeah, this storyline makes sense if you watch Being the Elite. I should not have to watch Being the Elite. I'm sorry.
Shout out to you, Skylar. I feel like I know who that is.
No, it actually wasn't. I can't remember who it was, but
oh boy.
But that point, like, really made me mad. Like, you can't expect me to watch Being the Elite.
It's like saying, oh yeah, if you're watching WWE, that's like saying, oh yeah, this storyline will make sense if you were watching Superstars. Who the fuck watches Superstars?
Or if you told me, oh yeah, the Hardy Boys storyline makes sense if you watch the Hardy Show. Not everybody knows what the Hardy Show is.
No. This Edge storyline will make sense if you watch the Edge Show that totally reeks of awesomeness on the WWE Network. No.
Yeah, those are spinoffs.
Yeah. Anyway. What about this? Before this other in-ring segment, I also have to point out that Chavo and Andrade are backstage with Fuego del Sol, who got a pretty big pop. And Chavo tells Fuego to shine Andrade's shoes, and then he proceeds to beat the fuck out of him.
You want to hear something funny? I looked away for 1 second during that promo, and I heard the shining shoes. I looked away, I turned back around, and I just see Fuego on the floor. And I'm just like, what the fuck happened? You were just...
I just think, like, Chavo and Andrade beat the shit out of him, basically. And it's essentially just a Lucha Bros call out. So.
Oh, and also before this in-ring segment, we forgot to mention the backstage segment that the Elite had. And I got to ask you, what the hell am I looking at? Kenny Omega's wearing a Cookie Monster shirt. The Young Bucks are wearing rompers, I think.
What the fuck?
I mean, Doc Gallows is wearing a Ric Flair robe, which hint and like, foreshadowing right there.
Are they like fucking like, dude? Like, I don't get it.
Carl Anderson was wearing like a "I love buttery chicken" shirt, and I'm just like, is that a reference, or does he just really like buttered chicken?
Did every member of the Elite just eat an edible before doing that promo? Like.
And then Omega's making baskets, which he was pretty good at, and they're just making fun of Hangman Page, and I'm just like, I want to hang out with these guys for like an hour just to see what happens.
Just to see how it goes. Just to see
say
how
no
it
to
goes.
the cookies.
I would, say no to the cookies. I would love to have a full-on conversation with Nick Jackson though about the business. So but
I just thought that was worth mentioning.
Yeah, but to your point, Hangman Page is in the ring and he's there cutting a promo when the Elite cuts him off before he can get a word out. And basically, the Elite's spiel is they're amounting to calling Page a failure. Dark Order comes out, but John Silver stops them from helping Hangman because he wants to respect his wishes. That turns out to be a mistake. Even though Kaz tried to do a run-in, even though he's gotten the shit kicked out of him every which way by the Elite.
I got a nitpick about that too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Kazarian, I love it. I love that he's reborn. I love the Elite Hunter.
It's a great gimmick.
100% unbelievable that he can take out the Elite on his own. Mm-hmm. You cannot sit there and tell me that this one man can take out 6 people. Hell, when he took out the Good Brothers in that one flurry of offense, it didn't look believable. No. Like, Gallows ran at him, Kazarian, like, barely touched him, and Gallows went flying out of the ring.
Yeah.
Kazarian, grab a weapon, a lead pipe, a steel chair, a kendo stick.
It's just like
borrow Drew McIntyre's sword. You can't go in there with your 2 fists.
Better yet, if you want to be the Punisher so bad, how about a big machine gun? You know,
exactly.
Like, you look like the Punisher. Listen, I really like the Elite Hunter as a gimmick, and Kazarian definitely looks the part, and he's phenomenal in the ring. Let's not forget that. Kazarian is a brilliant professional wrestler, but they are booking him to look like such a dweeb right now.
Or if you're going to do this gimmick, which is fine, Kazarian, tapping into your inner John Cena from 2010 and take them out one by one.
Yep.
Stop trying to attack them 6-on-1 because it's not working.
One at a time.
Hell, Kazarian came back to Impact Wrestling last week so we could team with Sami Callihan and Eddie Edwards to fight the Good Brothers and Omega. Divide and conquer. That's how you do it. Stop trying to attack them 6-on-1.
Exactly. But with that said, Omega goes, now I'm pissed. Hits Page right in the fucking head with the title belt. This is not over. This story is not over. So, with that said, speaking of titles, The TNT Championship is on the line. It's been a while since we've talked about this. Here's an amazing statistic. Daily's Place is the only spot the TNT Championship has ever been defended. It's the only spot the TNT title has ever changed hands. It's a pretty interesting history, to say the least.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That is very interesting.
But
never realized that, actually. I forgot that
there you go.
That title was conceived during the pandemic last year.
Exactly. Yep. So Miro, the current champion, is defending against Lee Johnson, who got his shot. How?
Because his name is Big Shotty.
I don't like that at all. That was not good. But,
also, Dustin in his corner because...
Yeah, because he's a member of the Nightmare family, because he asked Cody one day if he could be part of his stable. So, with that said...
I'm convinced Lee Johnson was like Cody's Uber Eats driver like once. So when Cody got his pizza, he was just like, "You're my best friend, man.
Oh my God.
You want to come join the Nightmare family?"
That's so funny. Yeah, no.
All jokes aside, Lee Johnson is actually taller than Miro.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Which is nuts. Speaking of Miro, is it just me or did he have a new theme song?
I think, but they're like really tapping into the gimmick now.
Yeah, he's not coming out champion. I'm the best. I'm the best man. He's not. He's had this
theme, I feel like, for a couple of shows now.
Yeah,
but I don't think I've noticed it either.
Yeah,
he's had this theme for a couple of shows. It's still fairly new though.
His Titantron now says, instead of the best man with the Bulgarian colors, it says God's favorite champion. I love this guy so much.
I love it. I love it. Oh, okay. So there's one point I want to bring up in this match.
Go ahead.
There was this annoying twat in the audience with a sign that he wrote a fucking essay on.
Oh no!
And it was double-sided too. One was for Kenny Omega. It said something about, "I want to see Kenny Omega versus CM Punk."
Oh my God!
For the AEW World Championship. I kind of brushed that off during this match, and I remember what it said word for word because I paused it and I was like, "What the fuck does this sign say?" Dude, you don't need to write an essay on the sign. It said,
it sounds like a Urinetown
"Dear
joke.
God, tell your favorite champion, please don't kill Big Shotty. We like him. Also, thank you for giving Miro a double-jointed wife," which is what Miro said in his promo last week.
He wrote that on his sign? Like, that was, how did I miss this? How did I miss this?
Because it was in tiny little writing. This guy wrote an essay on the sign, and it was bugging me throughout the entire match.
That sounds like a Urinetown joke almost. Anybody who's into Broadway theater, like, I'm thinking the Act 1 finale of this show, putting on a picket sign, writing out an essay saying, like, "This is why I'm opposed to this little rule about how you can't pee in the public stalls." Like, you know, it
was basically that.
Yeah, which is weird. It's so weird.
But that's what Miro said last week. He said, "Thank you, God, for blessing me with a double-jointed wife." Which we all know what CJ Perry's gimmick is going to be when she gets to AEW.
She's so flexible. Miro, I will say, no selling Lee Johnson's offense for most of this. I mean, Lee did have a few bursts of offense and a few close calls, a few close near falls. He hit a frog splash with it.
You know what my favorite spot of the match was?
What's that?
Lee Johnson hit a tornado DDT. And Miro popped up and sold it like
right
nothing.
back up.
And then after a second,
and then he was like
wobbles and goes down to one knee. Like, that didn't hurt. Yes, it did. I loved it.
Like
I fucking love Miro.
Like he comes home to his wife CJ drunk one night, and like
I'm not drunk.
He's like, "I'm fine." Yes, I am. And then he lies down on the couch. You know, but that's pretty much how he sold it. But I love Miro. But the match pretty much is what you would expect, and the crowd does chant "Game Over" along with Miro before he locks in that submission hold, and it's academic at that point. Lee Johnson passes out
in half. I love when he does that. I like how it's not just a camel clutch anymore. It's just starts off as a camel clutch, and then he just bends you backwards. And how the fuck do you get out of that?
How do you get out of that? And there was a point, this is how much I love Miro, but I noticed how he was smiling at the end of the match, and he was like caressing Lee, like cradling his head in his hands, and he was like, "Yeah, you almost got me." He is really, really, really going all in with this Redeemer gimmick, no pun intended. But 3 stars, good match. It was better than I was expecting, but again,
Miro works really well, and I don't want to say smaller guys because Johnson's taller than him. but like not the less huskier wrestlers. Like he worked with Dante Martin a couple months ago, and that was a really good match. I would rather watch Miro work with guys like this. I would like to see Miro work with Kip Sabian when he's back from injury. I would much rather see this than see him fight a guy like Lance Archer.
Can we have Miro versus Bryan Danielson in a 16?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Please.
You know, it's like when I said I would rather watch.
Like, this is some research. WWE never gave us Daniel Bryan versus Rusev one-on-one. Never.
No.
So
no.
I'm sure Tony Khan is going to look at that and be like, I'm going to give the fans what they want. Yeah. Miro versus Bryan Danielson in an Ultimate Submission match. Let's do it. I'm good.
Oh God, what was I gonna say? It's like when I said I would rather watch Lashley versus Matt Sydal than Lashley versus Rusev. Again, I would rather see Miro fight Kip Sabian and Dante Martin and probably even Matt Sydal.
Matt Sydal
as
himself.
Opposed to Archer and, you know, guys like that.
Yeah, absolutely. But I really enjoyed this match. Lee Johnson really impressed me, but again, the result was never in any doubt. But I'm assuming you want to talk about this next thing. This is where Christian gets interviewed by Tony Schiavone, and he basically is announced as the new #1 contender. Take it away.
Why?
What you got?
Why?
Why not?
Why does Christian get a world title shot?
Because he's undefeated, and he keeps winning. So they're rewarding him.
Darby Allin has 1 million wins.
Darby Allin's
Jungle
busy.
Boy, who's more popular with the crowd, which the Jurassic Express was nowhere to be seen on this show. We got Miro, who is extremely dominant. You got
but Miro's the champion already.
We got Hangman Adam Page, which despite the stipulation, still the most over wrestler in the company.
But that stipulation. So
AEW, who is really popular.
AEW is kind of booking themselves into a corner, though, my friend, because if you wanted Hangman Page to challenge Omega so badly at All Out, then have him win the 10-man fucking elimination tag last week. That's very easy. That is very easy.
I 100% agree. I do. So I don't say this about AEW a lot, but you're pulling he's a former WWE guy. Let's give him a main event.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's the only way I look at this.
Well,
nothing against Christian.
No.
He's awesome and fantastic in every way possible. But I just feel like there's a million other people that should get a world title shot.
But here's the thing, though. I'm all about Christian getting a title shot, obviously, because it makes sense to do it right now while he's on this hot streak and to have him contend for it now. I feel like now's the time to pull the trigger, now more than ever. But the thing is, let me ask you this. What happens when Daniel Bryan goes and challenges Kenny Omega? Are people going to complain that he's the former WWE guy? No, because it's Daniel Bryan.
I want them to wait with Christian Cage. It still feels pretty fresh from his debut. I want them to wait and wait.
He debuted at Revolution, didn't he?
Yeah.
That was in March. So I don't really think it's like that.
It's still too fresh to me. I think it needs to be at least a year. That's right. I said it. It needs to be at least a year for Christian Cage. There's so far. Orange Cassidy, Pac 101, Ray Fenix. There's a million guys.
Yeah, what is Orange Cassidy doing now?
I would rather see than Christian Cage. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If they're going to do this, please do it on an episode of Dynamite. I don't want to see this at all out.
Well, I mean, strap in because that might be what's happening. But I don't know.
I just really hope it's a case where I roll my eyes, but the match is really fucking good.
I have every confidence in the world that Omega and Christian are going to fucking kill it together. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm not banking on Christian to win the title by any stretch whatsoever. I mean, like I said, it would be fucking awesome if he did it. I would love it, but not banking on it because I think Omega's got to hold on to this title a little longer. This thing with Paige still has some legs to it. So with that said, speaking of championships, we talked about Orange Cassidy. Here's what he was doing on this show, accompanying legit Leyla Hirsch to the ring for her match against the Bunny, NWA Women's World Title Eliminator. Just because.
Because Hardy Family Office. I forgot they're feuding, but I thought I'm not going to think about it too much.
Right. Leyla Hirsch walks out with 4 best friends behind her. She's a face. And then they start wrestling. Was going to complain about this, but then the commentators corrected me.
I thought this was the number one contenders match for the AEW women's title. And I was going to say, what the fuck have Leyla Hirsch and the Bunny do? Have they done to get a title shot?
It's for the NWA women's title.
Yes. They corrected me on that. I'm like, thank God. Because that would have made me mad.
Yeah. Which speaking of, they go to ringside and I see this random chick at ringside, this random tall chick, and I'm like, who the hell is that? And then she stands up and she has the title belt around her waist, and I'm like, why the fuck did Serena Deeb lose this belt? Why?
Because
and I don't know who this is.
Her name is Camille. She has been on NWA Power for the past 2 years, and she is fucking dominant. Think of like a female version of Lashley.
Oh boy.
She is fucking dominant. She
that's
just
a legit
beat Serena Deeb for the title.
That's a legit comparison. There you go. But yeah, thank you for the clarification. This match, I mean, nothing special. I mean, these two worked hard. I did write down.
Also, sorry, just because it's just popped in my head. You want to know how massively talented she is?
How?
She's Nick Aldis's heavy.
Oh, so she's essentially like, if Nick Aldis were Triple H, she would be like his China in 1999.
Yeah, basically.
So that's interesting. I'm assuming, like all due respect to China, I'm guessing Carrie might be a better worker than China. I've never seen her work, but I've seen a fair amount of China matches in my time as a fandom. And
Camille is great. They call her Brick House for a reason.
Yeah, China has that mystique about her, and there's no denying her like influence on women's wrestling. Her matches weren't like, if you look back and watch an old school China match, they weren't really that great. I've never seen Carrie work, but
Camille.
I'm gonna take Camille rather. What did I call her? Cherry?
Carrie.
Oh my God.
It's all
Jesus
good.
Christ. It's been a long day, my friends. But yeah, I'm assuming I'll take your word for it. I'm assuming Camille is a much better worker. Both these women that were working in this match, Bunny and legit Leyla Hirsch, are both pretty underrated, and they were working hard. I don't want to say I was overly invested in the result. It didn't exactly matter to me. I did write down a JR quote because Orange Cassidy was at ringside, and he said he was a more than interested bystander. And I'm like, of course he is.
He was.
Orange Cassidy was laser focused into this match. Obviously, he was just.
He was
kind of leading.
He was ready to challenge the winner.
There was a point where Leyla Hirsch even gave him a thumbs up, and then Orange Cassidy was like, yeah, I love that man so much. I love him. But in any case, Leyla Hirsch locks in her armbar, 2.5, pretty good women's match, but I almost called her Carrie again. Camille walks into the ring, and I kid you not, she is like 2 heads taller than poor little Leyla Hirsch.
Now you know why they want to do this match.
My God. They want to do this. I'm assuming Leyla Hirsch is losing, and she's just being fed to the slaughter.
That was a scary comparison when they stood up to each other.
Yeah.
That was
my God.
Scary. I want to see this match. I don't know if that's going to be at Empowered, which is Mickie James's all-female pay-per-view she's putting together. Ooh. I don't know what show it's going to be, but Mickie James is putting together a all-women's pay-per-view.
Good for her.
It's fantastic. If that's going to be on that show, I was going to order the show regardless, but whatever this NWA women's title match is going to be, I'm going to buy it because I want to see that fucking match.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be interesting, for sure, tossing Leyla Hirsch around. But decent enough match. Here we go. The big one. Our main event of AEW Homecoming. Malakai Black going one-on-one with Cody Rhodes. Oh my God, this Malakai Black presentation. I fucking loved it. He looks fucking terrifying. He's walking out in a big heap of smoke. He's got like, I don't want to say like hereditary like antlers on him, but
silhouette.
Holy
he
shit.
Looked like the Chupacabra. He just looked like a monster. Monster out in the distance, and all you can see is the silhouette. And it looks fucking amazing.
This guy, man, WWE did not know what they had.
This is going to be a first with me saying this. The presentation was better than anything WWE could have come up with.
How macabre.
It was so simplistic and so just simple. It was so simplistic, and it got the job done.
No candles needed. No candles or creaky door lifting him up off the ground.
Just that headpiece. Some smoke, some lighting. And again, it wasn't even lighting effects, just the lighting where it was dark enough where all you could see was that silhouette.
And then even when he takes off that Ember Moon-esque mask of his, like that skull mask, Mad Max almost. But even when he takes the mask off, he still looks fucking scary. Like one side of his face, you have a contact in there, and his whole right side of his face is painted like he's freaking like a mummy. It's so insane.
It was amazing.
Yeah, and Cody Rhodes comes out, and this is what we were talking about. Cody Rhodes comes out to his amazing theme song, and Cody Rhodes gives his weight belt to a little girl at ringside. How can you hate this guy? How can you hate him?
God, I was like ready to go over Cody Rhodes on this review, and I still kind of am, but
oh boy,
he's like John Cena. You can not like him all you want, but
oh man. So yeah, this match starts, and like I said, Malakai looks terrifying. He sweeps the leg of Cody Rhodes like he's from the Cobra Kai dojo, and Cody sells this leg throughout the entire rest of the match. That's the story. He works Cody's leg.
Yeah, so
and that's
the crowd was 100% behind Malakai Black, as we expected. Yep. Also, we use the word match very loosely because this really wasn't a match.
This was a fucking...
It was completely one-sided.
This is a fucking massacre is what it is of one gentleman, Cody Rhodes. He does go for a figure four at some point. Malakai gouges his eyes as if it were an eye for an eye match. And then he locks on the most painful single leg crab I think I've ever seen in my whole time watching wrestling. He has that thing cinched in, and Cody is screaming at the top of his lungs. It's almost like a horror movie, the way this is presented. It's wonderful. But there are loud Malakai chants. Cody goes for a crossroads. Nice counter by Malakai out of that, I will say. He's not only a terrifying look, but it's a fantastic wrestler. Absolutely phenomenal wrestler. Again, WWE didn't know what they had. But Cody Rhodes goes up to the top rope somehow with a bum leg. Malakai, I almost called him Alistair, god damn it. Malakai kicks him off the top rope, and Cody takes a big, gigantic bump through the timekeeper's table, and I legit jumped out of my chair. It was so awesome.
He got kicked off, and then all of a sudden, I was like, "Oh, look, a table!" And
oh, look, a table!
Wow, what a spot!
What a spot! What a spot! And even after that, Malakai is happy with a count-out victory. He sits crisscross applesauce in the center of the ring, and he looks at Cody as if he were to say, "I dare you to get back in here."
Yeah, and Cody Rhodes does, and just like that, just like in WWE, Black Mass, Black wins.
Yep, with
just
a cocky pin. Cody is unconscious out of the Black Mass, and Malakai walks over to him, puts one foot on Cody's chest, and the referee counts to 3. Beautiful.
This match was 5 minutes and 9 seconds.
Yep, it was exactly what it needed to be. 3.5 stars. Wasn't much of a match, but you know what? I'm giving it 2 thumbs up. They did exactly what I wanted them to do.
I did not think it was going to go down this way, and I'm happy that it did.
I didn't think so either. It was...
But after the match, it gets a little stale. So, of course, Shivani goes into the ring because, oh my God, Cody Rhodes lost a match. We got to make a big fucking deal about it. Why not just put Malakai over? And he starts interviewing Rhodes, and then Cody Rhodes starts cutting a promo. And it felt very work shooty.
Like, it's a great promo. It's a great
Cody
promo.
Rhodes was kind of pulling the curtain back saying AEW is succeeding very well right now, and this is just the beginning. So thank you everyone who stuck through it through all this crap. And Cody Rhodes, and this is what I don't like, he starts teasing that he's going to retire. Oh my God, Cody, do you have to be a fucking drama queen with everything?
Well,
you lost a match. You don't have to fucking retire.
Here's the deal, though. Cody has, and this is legit true. Cody is saying that he's not going to wrestle for much longer after this. So I was honestly kind of buying into this. So this is where I'm going to respectfully disagree with you. I was buying hook, line, and sinker that Cody was retiring here. And like this promo.
And here's the thing.
Great.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But do you really think Cody's last match is going to be a 5-minute squash?
I mean, he's putting Malakai over on his way out the door.
And here's the thing. I 100% believe Rhodes will put somebody over, but I feel like it's going to be like a 20-minute classic, and they'll have like a big tribute to him. I don't think he would quietly exit stage left. Like, if he does, that's fantastic. But the end of this promo kind of proves that that's not true. Because, and I'm not going to lie, I'm a bastard. I laughed when this happened. Cody Rhodes starts taking off his boots, and he takes one's boot off. And Malakai Black comes back, and he blasts Cody with the crunch.
I laughed. He's
hard.
not letting Cody steal the spotlight from him being put over. And also one touch that I loved. Cody was in the process of taking his boots off. He's got one completely off. Then Malakai comes in, swings the crutch, hits him in the back, and then he takes the one boot Cody took off home with him as a souvenir. What a fucking bastard, man. I loved
What's
it.
Malakai Black going to do with the boot? I don't know, but
I don't know. Maybe he puts
his boot and he's going home.
Maybe he puts, like, you know, the boot on a railroad spike out in the woods, and he holds like a ritual, Lord of the Flies style. But I don't know.
It reminds me of
the
Royal Rumble 2016 when Miro put Roman Reigns through a table, and he just randomly took the monitor with him.
He randomly took the monitor. I remember what you're talking about.
And then he put on Twitter, like, yeah, I took the monitor. Why? Because I can.
Yeah, why not? Why not? He can improvise. It was great. It was great. But, I mean, like, you could do whatever you fucking want with this boot. It's fucking wrestling. Use your imagination. Malakai Black is a silly, scary character now. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with this character. I mean, it doesn't seem like this is going to be the end of this feud. It seems like it's going to continue. Maybe it all out with a stipulation. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm just, for what it is for right now, I'm very pleased with what Tony Khan did. Like, this is, like, honestly, I was not expecting it to go down this way, but this is everything I wanted and more. So, thumbs up. Thumbs up for a solid.
Oh, yeah. And like I said, there was a cliffhanger into this episode, which I really liked. Is Cody Rhodes really done? Is this issue with Malakai Black going to continue? Malakai Black now has all the momentum in the world. Good job, AEW.
He has all the momentum in the world. Yeah.
It's not that hard. It's
really
not that hard.
It's not that hard. You know, like, you have to, like, WWE always has to make things so fucking difficult. Like, Brian.
WWE. What you did with what AEW did with Malakai Black is what you should be doing with Karrion Kross right now.
Yeah. Yep. He said it, not me. He said it. So, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But it's almost like, yeah, AEW, see, wrestling is fake, right? And they're using like all this. No, it's a gimmick. It's a gimmick. But what I'm saying is, like, AEW is like leaning into what the fans want.
Don't scare me like that.
I'm sorry. Yeah, but it's scripted, not fake. I'm sorry. But here's the thing.
What, it's scripted?
WWE. I'm trying to make a point here. WWE, like, it's almost like, think of wrestling booking as a corn maze, and AEW is booking a perfect corn maze right now. WWE, like, they're trying to, like, book their way out of the corn maze, but they are just creatively coming up with ways to fuck themselves over and trap themselves in the corn maze.
Or AEW is actually following the map, and WWE is just like, trust me, I know where we're going, run into a dead end every, no. And then there's somebody, the fans saying, hey, maybe you should look at the map. And WWE is like, no. I've been through this maze before. I know how to get myself out. Come on, David, use the fucking map. They give it to you for a reason.
Moral of the story here, my friends, this storyline with Malakai Black, the key is simplicity. And I love what they've been doing with him. I can't wait to see what else they do. Solid episode of Dynamite, 8 out of 10 for me, Homecoming. I don't know if it was as good as night 1 of Fyter Fest, but it's certainly up there. Certainly up there for me. Daly's Place was hot all night. Really liked it.
Well, everybody, did you get your fill of AEW? Because we gave you like 4 or 5 episodes worth of AEW. That should keep you held over.
Until All Out. Yes, and we do have a few other things to talk about. I mean, let us know if you want us to talk about. We'll think about Rampage. We'll think about the CM Punk debut. You heard it here first from me. CM Punk is coming at the first dance. But the thing is, we do have SummerSlam coming up. We do have TakeOver 36. We do have WrestleMania 19 still to talk about. So lots of wrestling content in addition to my cinema reviews. If you're new here, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button as well as that thumbs up. Really, really helps get the content out there to people. You guys are the best. Really. Thank you all so much for tuning in once again. Commence that back talk. See you for the next one. Take care, guys.